In the darkness where power and ambition intertwine, the truth is no longer a straight path but a labyrinth filled with traps, where every step could lead to collapse. A meticulously crafted scheme has been set in motion, designed not only to punish but to test the minds and morals of those daring enough to confront the truth. As family secrets are thrust into the light, fear, anger, and greed ignite like an unquenchable flame. In this environment, who will remain steadfast to their conscience, who will betray to protect themselves, and who will be swept into the merciless whirlpool of power with no escape? This article will guide readers into a world where inner conflict and ruthless schemes dictate every action, every decision, and every heartbeat of the central characters. The light vanished as if it had been strangled, leaving a dense darkness in which every sound echoed and distorted. Martin immediately realized that he was not merely imprisoned, but placed on a hidden stage, a framework meticulously designed for psychological domination. The door slammed behind him was not merely a physical barrier, it was a declaration of power by the one who had set the trap. The metallic and sweat-soaked scent filled the air, cold and intimate, like a reminder that humans, beneath all appearances of decorum, are still close to their own flesh and that flesh can be stripped, twisted, hidden. For a moment, an unusual thought crossed his mind. He had once believed that truth could defend itself. To Martin, truth was a tangible entity, breathing and capable of inflicting damage on liars. But in the dark room with surveillance cameras positioned at every angle, truth became fragile. It was like a thin sheet of paper pressed under the feet of a tyrant, easily shredded, torn, or weaponized. Martin sensed instantly that he was not just a victim of a kidnapping, he was the subject, the commodity, the instrument for the mastermind to showcase his malice to the Dupree family. Smitty did not appear on screen, yet his presence thickened the air. Smitty had once known too much. He had witnessed money exchanged in the shadows, documents burned, and frozen faces as the truth was dragged through the filter of prestige. He understood that his knowledge could obliterate an entire dynasty, but he also knew that knowledge needed to be deployed, placed within a cunning trap, because power was not merely concealment, it was provocation. Smitty wanted to watch reactions. He craved seeing people forced to choose, witnessing internal conflicts exposed, seeing everyone cornered, and that was the thrill of someone once dismissed. Smitty's motives intertwined vengeance and control. He wanted both to protect the massive secrets of the Dupree family's corruption and to transform fear into leverage. He knew that an image of Martin trapped, eyes hollow under artificial light, would act as a psychological bomb. He imagined Danny's eyes when she saw the footage, visualized the gradual collapse of Anita's trust, wanted to hear the ruthless disintegration of honor. Smitty did not merely want Martin silent, he wanted him to become a lever, forcing the family to expose their true nature or collapse in shame. Martin wondered about Smitty's principles of action. Was this a lesson or a method of revenge? He had not anticipated the meticulousness of setting up a dark room with surveillance cameras, microphones, and motion sensors. Everything here indicated preparation only possible by someone who had worked inside the system, knowing electrical schematics, security schedules, and the blind spots where speech could not reach. Smitty did not need to kill, he needed moral collapse, mutual destruction, and the agonizing choices only those cornered would accept. Panic began physically. Martin banged on doors, walls, feeling the cold, grimy floor, seeking every corner to gain an advantage. But survival instinct quickly gave way to a mental battle. He reminded himself to stay calm, to stay clear-headed, to locate cameras and microphones. Every step, every breath could be recorded, magnified, and replayed for those laughing in the shadows. Every drop of sweat could become evidence against someone, or proof of his own weakness. In the darkness, Martin's memory tormented him. Images of secretly inspecting documents, invoices, and forged stamps played like a reel before his eyes. He recalled the name Dupree as a cold sequence of sounds, remembered Danny's resolute demeanor when she tried to hide, snippets of a phone call he eavesdropped on, and deep down, the suspicion always present in Nicole's gaze. These memories became spears, reminders of duty yet paralyzing with guilt for having approached too much truth, for placing himself in the storm's eye. Smitty was exacting in stifling opportunity. He calculated that to destabilize, all that was needed was a single image sufficient to assert dominance, a cornered expression, a face exposed, a confined space where every reaction was genuine. He used cameras not just to watch, but to record moments of vulnerability, internal monologues wordless, but charged with implication. He wanted the Dupree family to react. Trapped, People act on survival instinct or betray, and Smitty counted on both. Martin slowly realized he had been placed in a psychological trap. He began noticing tiny details: a vent, a loose wire, a rolled-up piece of paper in a corner. Smitty had left these like bait for the mind: an old photo, a fragment of a cut tape. These objects did not empower Martin, they provoked him, pushing him to struggle between protecting others or revealing everything. Smitty knew that isolation makes people succumb to instinctive betrayal or self-preservation. By stimulating both, he waited for the moment of collapse. Outside, the Dupree family was in chaos. Rumors spread like poison, first panic, then a cascade of suspicion and hidden guilt. Each member observed the others through masks of composure, yet their eyes betrayed everything. Dani, with her leadership instincts and burning anger, could only search for the man she once considered an ally. Every moment of waiting transformed pain into sparks ready to ignite and destroy relationships. Anita, outwardly calm but ambitious and controlling, realized the disappearance was not just about one person, it threatened the legacy she had built. She felt every brick in her castle perched on the edge of a cliff. Her fear sparked impulsive action. She wanted to protect her reputation, to push responsibility outward, but deep inside, panic made her see everyone as potential traitors. Vernon, with a stoic facade, began reassessing loyalty around him. Every suspicion planted like a seed of poison, making fragile bonds tear further. Smitty anticipated this. He knew fear would trigger betrayal. He wanted the Duprees to act on survival instinct, placing personal gain above family. His schemes targeted Martin but also the family's mental structure, where reputation alone could conceal sins yet collapse under strategic pressure. Inside, Martin tried to probe, discovering blind spots, testing camera reflections, and cautiously moving. Fatigue, hunger, and fear slowly eroded willpower. One misstep could expose him, one correct move could grant mere minutes of freedom. Most of the time, he battled himself, between being paralyzed by fear and struggling to act as a participant in a larger plan. Outside, Dupree family fractures. Nicole, usually gentle, acts recklessly. She holds a secret about Peaches, whose true origins, if revealed, could unravel relationships built on lies. Fear of exposure drives Nicole to extreme actions, manipulating files, deleting or altering data, contacting allies to cover her tracks. Each move is a moral calculation, lying more to hide previous lies, sinking deeper into Smitty's trap. Dani, protective yet furious at betrayal, becomes decisively ruthless. Every choice fueled by anger. Why were they placed here? Why would anyone seek to destroy what they built? This fury propels action but clouds judgment. She interrogates, investigates, and forces the family into impossible choices exactly as Smitty intended. Smitty escalates, leaks manipulated clips. The first videos shown to the family are not truth but cleverly edited fragments, full of ambiguity. Family members interpret, self-convict, turning suspicion inward. As the Duprees protect themselves, the collective structure collapses faster than any direct assault Smitty could deliver. Martin, seeing the distorted footage, feels contempt. He wants to shout, smash the devices, rip every clip to reveal the truth. Yet he lacks control over information. He lies down, curling into a dark corner, thinking coldly, can a weakened person act ruthlessly? He questions past actions, past omissions, realizing he owes something to truth, to others, and the awareness fuels anger, not only at Smitty but at himself, the Duprees, and a system nurturing corruption. Smitty, further, involves Dupree adversaries, giving them distorted clips to provoke them into targeting the family. He does not need force, he creates conditions for society to administer its own destruction. In the age of images, a single distorted moment can define a life. Smitty is the cruel artist, crafting with others' pain. Hours pass. Martin collects scraps, using metal to disable cameras, wires to manipulate circuits, fabric to muffle microphones. Each act carefully weighed, a misstep could expose him, a correct move might grant fleeting liberty. He fights internally, fear versus agency, paralysis versus action. Outside, chaos intensifies. Media calls, anonymous threats, secret meetings continue. Family fractures into factions, some want cover-ups, some want to strike back decisively. Anger morphs into aggression. Retaliation, hiring lawyers, illegal maneuvers to block evidence. Every act pushes Martin deeper into Smitty's trap. Smitty watches, smiling subtly. This battle is not only present, it exposes long-standing cracks in the Dupree family. He, once powerless, now rises, but not merely for revenge. He wants to see whether this system can self-correct or self-destruct. He needs Martin as a mirror for reflection. Martin realizes the harshest truth: his evidence is valuable, but no one is willing to bear the cost. Allies become threats. This recognition widens cracks, forcing a cold ruthlessness he never knew he possessed. Anger becomes determination. If he cannot save everyone, he will at least make them confront consequences. Smitty predicts, as Martin acts, clips are broadcast strategically to maximize confusion. A silent mental duel begins. Martin sabotages recording systems, Smitty edits and leaks clips, Dupree's respond as assaulted, blurring victim and perpetrator lines. Climactic moment, Martin finds an old phone with battery to send a few calls. He could broadcast all evidence publicly, endangering everyone and risking death, or send unedited footage to a single trustworthy person, hoping for right action. This agony mirrors placing a loaded gun in someone else's hands. While Martin wrestles, Smitty stirs external chaos, sending manipulated clips to a hostile journalist, inciting public scrutiny, turning Dupree's into targets. He exposes shadows, forcing outsiders to tear the facade. Reputation, in Smitty's eyes, is a thin veneer. He scrapes it layer by layer. At peak tension, a moment of near silence precedes eruption. Martin sends the unedited footage to one chosen person, accepting potential self-sacrifice so the story is told. Smitty anticipated, leaving parts retained and parts broadcast, confronting everyone with distorted truth alongside fragments of reality. Reactions are mayhem. Inside the family, betrayals surface, relationships tear, past concealed choices become weapons. Danny's anger turns into decisive action, Nicole's becomes systematic deceit, Anita desperately hides evidence. Each must answer, stand by family or protect self. Smitty observes, every scheme realized. Yet unexpectedly, human decency emerges, some act not for gain but to preserve remaining conscience. This frustrates Smitty, whose goal was total collapse. Humanity becomes an unpredictable variable. The story's significance is not in Martin's survival but in how anger, fear, and inner conflict are portrayed. Smitty seeks a power game, turning actions into soul-crushing events. Martin, in psychological torment, must choose between truth and survival. Dupree family faces reveal darkness and consequences long concealed. In this tragic framework, competitive scheming transcends money or power. It's a pendulum between justice and self-preservation, hatred and forgiveness, destruction and redemption. Cornered, people react instinctively and morally, with anger guiding choices and consequences indelibly etched not only upon them but on the source of the power that once shielded them. The dark room remains, cameras rolling, Smitty smiling. Yet even he cannot fully anticipate one factor: impetuous, human decisions can provoke an unforeseen backlash. As humanity emerges amid chaos, fear dissipates to reveal new clues, potentially turning the tables on Smitty. The storm of reputation is underway, and whether it ends in ruin or recovery, one fact remains: every person is changed forever by choices made at the edge of the abyss. As the storm of scheming gradually subsides, fragments of truth remain scattered everywhere, lingering in every glance, every decision, and every cruel choice made. Martin, though pushed to the edge, realizes that survival does not equal victory. Every step taken in the darkness carries the weight of ruthless decisions he was forced to make. The Dupree family, once a symbol of power and prestige, now faces the very darkness they had long buried, where greed, anger, and fear have transformed once strong bonds into irreparable cracks. Smitty, the mastermind behind it all, observes the outcome not with simple delight, but with the chilling satisfaction of mental domination and the helplessness of those who once considered him an ally. Yet amidst the ruins of betrayal and despair, a small fissure of humanity endures, where honesty, courage, and hope seep through, reminding that no matter how ruthless power becomes, people can still rise, confront the consequences, and rewrite the story of their own lives.